Not yet.
Now I heard another ding,
It's on.
and apparently we're on.
We
gets
have
worse
the best
and worse
intros. No,
every week.
better and better.
Okay. So, 3. Wait, it's like,
There we
hey
go.
guys, it's Sunday night, and it's time for another episode of the M Cluster. I am Slider, your host, and tonight with us is half of Brandon.
Hey guys.
He's just going to be a disembodied voice for the remainder of this show. And also tonight is Dante.
Hi, I'm behind the scenes and in front of the scenes.
Yes. And tonight we are talking about Batman vs. Wolverine, the Top Hat Saga. And this is Dante's pick. I don't know why anybody would want to see that, but here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie is called The Prestige, and it is about two magicians, mostly, and they are played by Hugh Jackman, and who's I don't know why I always lose track of this. I don't know, because I like them both a lot. Anyway, Christian Bale, and they're two magicians in the very beginning of the movie. They're basically just plants for another magician, and this woman is trying to do this tank scene where
Water escape.
she's
Water escape.
yeah, water escape, and you see them, and there's this argument over what kind of knot he's using, and this magician's terrible or whatever, and eventually they argue and stuff. And what ends up happening is one day they do the water escape, and she doesn't escape. She actually drowns right on the stage in front of all those people, and it turns out that the woman doing the water escape was actually the wife of one of the magicians, Hugh Jackman. So he's obviously upset, and he's like, "Oh, what knot did you tie? I don't know." And basically, the movie continues. This one, Hugh Jackman's constantly angry at the other person, and they try to one-up each other, doing as they're moving on with their magician careers, trying to get better venues and doing their own shows, and they try to sabotage each other. One guy is trying to do a better trick, so we can do the bullet catch, and then he gets his finger shot off because instead of dying because his assistant knocked the gun off center, and they're just constantly trying to one up each other. And it all kind of culminates in this trick called the
Transporting man.
the transported man, right? It's the best magic trick I've ever seen. I don't know how he does it. I need to know his secret. And then it just goes on this kind of adventure of trying to figure out how to do it and how to do it better. And there's a lot of weird twists and turns, and we can get to that a little bit later.
I don't know why, but part of me enjoys watching Dante squirm when he can't remember what's going on, especially since it's his movie.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is your movie, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I have such difficulty with certain things. I don't know. Anyway, Slider, what did you think?
I watched a completely different movie than you. All I saw was Batman was pissed off because Alfred was working for Wolverine, and so they had a magic off.
Let's not forget about Black Widow. She was in there.
I want to say Black Widow worked for both of them.
Yeah, Black Widow was she was a double agent.
Surprise, surprise there, right?
Yeah, right? So it just, it's just kind of not there. No, actually, I hadn't seen this movie before, or I'd seen parts of it. I'm not exactly sure which. I know I hadn't seen the whole movie, especially. I've watched it 4 times this week. So I'm definitely certain I hadn't seen it before, but I did know a lot about it. And unfortunately, knowing a lot about it kind of ruined some of the enjoyment for me. Good film. It wasn't very interesting. I knew what was happening. Nothing was really surprising until the very end of the movie. And it just felt like something that I had watched before but not paid any attention to.
And by the way,
be surprised if that actually happened.
Borden's wife in the movie. She was in Iron Man 3, right?
Yes.
But
Okay.
she's more well known, I think, for Like that's Piper Perabo. Like I think she first got her name was known in Coyote Ugly.
Yeah, but she was also in a movie with.
Was she in Coyote Ugly?
She was like the main character in Coyote Ugly. What did you say, Slider?
No, you're thinking of the wrong person. You're thinking of Piper or whatever who played Julia.
Perabo.
That's Julia was not Borden's wife. She was Wolverine's wife, whatever.
Okay.
In Wolverine Origins.
Angier's wife. Angier's wife was the one that was in Coyote Ugly. The Christian Bale's wife is the one who was in Iron Man, and
okay.
she's not known for a whole lot. I can tell.
But so just kind of watching it, and it was. Don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. It's well written. The acting is top notch. The cast is top notch. It was just. I kind of went into the show half-assed. The movie, kind of half-assed. Just like I knew loosely the storyline. So it really didn't get interesting for me until the end.
See, I was very interested the whole time, every time I saw it. The first time is, I think, one of the more interesting things is just all the magic aspects where, like, you see everything, like, you actually learn how they do a lot of the several magic tricks because they reveal it to you throughout the movie. And, like, some of it's a little more, like, you just saw a picture here, like, where, like, a dead bird. Like, oh, geez, like, you know, they killed an animal for a trick. You know, this is not as fluffy and pretty and everything as you might expect. And it's also, like, to the lengths they'll go through for a trick and, like, you know, all the deception and how it's kind of, oh, it's simple once you know the trick. Kind of like, oh, use a double. Like, it's easy when you know how, but when you don't, it's completely mysterious and amazing.
So, when in watching this movie, I think what I found the most interesting are the aspects of it that I guess I didn't know or wasn't aware of. Like Tesla's involvement, the storyline with Edison.
Which I found that stuff pretty cool.
Because they were really clearly trying to vilify Edison.
Yeah, and if you know anything about, like, Matthew Inman, who does the oatmeal, he is right there on that same page. He's like, Edison was this huge, awful jerk who, like lied and stole and broke promises and screwed over Tesla on numerous occasions when Tesla was just trying to make the world a better place. Edison was like, I need some money.
It is true. Edison was just a businessman. That's
yes.
Pretty much it.
You know, and this film clearly took that position, even though he was never in the movie.
Yeah, nobody wanted to play that role.
You know, but what was interesting was, like, when they were both at the science symposium where Tesla is going to show his work and they don't let him, right? The person in the audience that yells, "This thing's going to blow, let's get out of here," is actually one of the people that is one of his henchmen that show up at the hotel later.
Oh.
You didn't catch that?
No. I missed those little things.
Yeah. So he was a plant, just like they do with the magicians.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of interesting. I didn't particularly care for the guy that played Tesla.
David Bowie?
Oh?
Yeah. I didn't. His performance didn't really do anything for me. I don't know. It felt kind of flat. And maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe that's what they thought Tesla was like. But like, he did not seem like a very deep character at all. Although he did have one of the best lines in the film. When he says, he's like, "Are you prepared for the cost of this?" He's like, "Money's no object." He's, "Yes, I understand, but are you prepared for the cost?"
Yeah.
Which I think really sums up the heart of this movie.
Yeah, like one of the things that I think, like, this movie is, I feel, less about the plot and more about the ideas, like the dedication, the sacrifice, and like all of the things that they're willing to go through to do what they do, like living this world, like living the lie, Like, and they actually have an example of like, oh, the goldfish trick. How do you do it? And it's like, oh, his entire life is the trick. You have to like pretend to be this old frail man when you have to you're actually strong as an ox.
But you know that was a real person.
Okay.
Just like Tesla and Edison.
Okay.
That was a real magician.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, and none of that was made up. He lived his life. He was an American, and he lived his life in public as a Chinese person.
That's new to me.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah. And he actually died on stage doing the bullet trick. And
So the guy who did the goldfish trick is the same one who did the bullet trick?
yes,
Okay.
right, doing the bullet trick. And when he got shot, he said, "I've been shot." The first time he spoke English on stage in 19 years, and his last words.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
Now I
guy's
want
no
to now,
drama.
now I want to see that.
That actually goes along to like we didn't spoil this part of it yet, but that whole part about living your whole life for your magic, like the main character, the cat's on my paper I can't look at. I don't know. Hold on.
So who was
Angier or Borden?
Hugh Jackman, Robert Angier.
Jackman?
No, but okay, Christian Bale anyway. Christian Bale actually was, like, he had a twin. Like, no one, like, they actually kind of drop little hints throughout, like, oh, you don't really know his past, you don't know the past of his assistant, and all that kind of stuff, and it turns out...
But they show his assistant's face enough, though, that if you pay attention, you can be like, oh, that's Christian Bale.
If you look closely enough and you're kind of trying to see a trick, but in general, you'd never notice. Like, they stuffed his face with, like, gauze or whatever to make it puffier. He made him, like, much heavier. He had a totally different persona in the way he acted. He didn't speak, so you don't hear the same voice. Like, it was, like, I think it's amazing, the idea that this person could spend half of his time being the normal guy, and then all of a sudden, half of his life actually just be this little mute assistant guy who doesn't do anything.
Well, he wasn't actually mute. One.
No, but just
And,
super quiet.
Yeah, and two, they actually tell you in the movie. It's very subtle, but in the argument that he's having with his wife,
Yeah, he says if you trust him, then you trust me.
no, she
Okay.
says, "I know what you are."
Yeah.
Right? She figures out what's going on.
You think. You never sure.
No,
It's not.
Well, okay. From the movie perspective, I could say you could probably say that you're never sure, but they did that. That was that was intentionally unintentional because that line wasn't scripted. She said as soon as she said it, she felt horrible because she thought she'd given the plot away.
Oh. Okay. But see, that's like, there's a lot of little hints. It's kind of like The Sixth Sense, where you watch it the first time, and then towards the end, you're like, oh, and then you watch it again, and you see all the little clues that you should have picked up on that you didn't.
Well,
Kind of like with the magic trick.
They actually summarize the movie for you at the end. They give away all that stuff.
Yeah, but there's lots of stuff that isn't there. Like when, like they kind of show you, like, oh, you know, the whole part where they cut the fingers, like, oh, it's
Well, when
you know, just
not
happened.
just that, but one example would be when Christian Bale found his place wrecked, and he was talking to his brother, quote unquote assistant, whatever you want to call him, and when they pan the camera around, you could clearly see that it's Christian Bale. And that
I'm
was
gonna have to
fairly
disagree with you,
early on.
Brandon. I don't think that is the case. Maybe you have some sort of super sixth sense about these things, but I think in general, no one saw that.
Yeah. I have to agree with Slider on this one. But yeah, there's like tons of little hints that they don't give you even in the flashbacks. Like if you trust him, you trust me. Like, oh, we know less about him than we do about you. If you trust him, then you trust me.
Said that already.
Said that.
So, but like, there were several things like that throughout the entire movie.
Hold on, you gave 3 examples, 2 of which were the same.
There's more. There's also.
Oh wait, there's more.
I don't care about examples. I care about his trick.
Actually, that's a good segue because there is that one scene where he's arguing with his assistant, Olivia, and she says, "Well, what about your wife?"
This won't bring your wife back.
Yeah, and he goes, "I don't care about my wife. I care about this trick." That is a huge statement, because at that point you see he's not going after him because his wife died. He's going after him for him.
I know you said you disagree with me, but look at the screen I just shared.
No, I won't.
Right there.
Can't do it.
It's a picture of you with some guy with Battlestar Galactica or something.
Yeah. It's the screen share button, Brandon.
I did.
And now it's not there. Okay. Wait, this one? Yeah, I would not go, oh, that's Christian Bale.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Dante on this one.
I thought it was, obviously it is Christian Bale, but I thought it was Christian Bale when I first saw it.
Is it obvious, though? Is it?
And it's kind of like the whole Superman versus Clark Kent thing. It's also personality, persona, movement style, like all of those things encompass who you are. And when
they took turns playing that assistant and him himself, though. They took turns at it. That's why he would love her one day and not the next.
I like that part of that too, where it's like in the beginning, like, oh, it makes it so much better when you mean it, and then later, it's like, it makes it so much worse when you don't.
But why would they switch off that? One of them loved Olivia. One of them loved Julia. Why would they switch that part of their life?
They have to because of the stage. So, like, when one goes in, the other comes out of the other door.
Yes, but he doesn't stay there for the rest of his life. But at the end of the show, he gets out.
But they were just trying to be fair to each other. They're basically, they each had half a life, like they said. And so, but they have to live one. So,
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if they each loved one woman, there's no reason that I can understand that they couldn't, when they were, like, when he was going to be, when both people were going to be him at one house, be this person. The person that loves this woman. When both of these people are going to be him at this other, at the shop.
How do you explain them switching then? Like that's where the problem comes in. When would they switch if not?
They have to switch a lot.
The show.
Go to the fucking bathroom. Do something. I mean, it's not.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom with my assistant for a few minutes.
Yes,
every couple.
Whatever. That's cool. I can live with that.
That's not creepy or weird or suspicious at all.
I'd rather be creepy and be with the woman that I love than.
You're no magician. It's the sacrifices.
And Scarlett Johansson was in love with Christian Bale's, not his assistant. She was in love with the magician, not the assistant.
No one was in love with the assistant.
No one, yeah.
Therefore, they had to stay one person.
Yeah, you're completely not understanding what I said.
I agree with Slider on this one.
Wow, why are we agreeing so much? Something's wrong.
When are they gonna switch to take care of Scarlett Johansson's character? Like you can't play complete doubles all the time.
Walk out of the fucking room and change your clothes, man. I mean, these people they're magicians. They do this for a living. They should not have trouble switching wardrobes.
I think as often as it would
would draw too much either confusion or questions.
Hey, I'm a weird-ass magician. I need 10 minutes by myself to get centered.
Except you would have to also be with your assistant, so your assistant would come out.
Who makes sure that nobody else is coming in the room to bother me while I'm trying to be by myself.
That is.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a very different movie.
That would be a lot weirder than.
No. Clearly, what happened is because the script demands it.
No, and I'm
just saying.
And it's also it feeds into the whole idea.
It's a self-created tragedy. Just like, and that is a theme. When Hugh Jackman's double Root, I think his name was.
Groot.
Root. R-O-O-T. Root.
Not Groot.
Not Groot.
Not Groot.
Oh.
Not Groot. Different hair.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, fucking spot on, right? But when he was actually on stage, he makes a comment. He's like, I played Faust and I played Caesar, both of which are people who had their own ambitions destroy them, which is ultimately what happens to Angia. You know, so this movie is very symbolic as well as just telling you a straightforward story. One thing, I don't know if you caught this or not. Do you know what the initials of the two main characters spells out?
I had not paid attention to that. No.
Alfred Borden, Robert Angier.
Abba?
A.B. Robert Angier.
Oh, A.B.
Oh, Abra.
Abra.
Oh, abracadabra.
Yeah, there's a lot of little subtle things like this in this movie.
But that's only if you place Christian Bale's character first. I mean, what if you place it the other way around with Robert Angier first, and it's R-A-A-D?
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm not going to get into this argument because that's just. I mean.
It's clearly a thing they went for.
Yes.
You have to, it's a little cute little thing that gets added to the mix of.
I don't care what actor you
subtleties.
put first for your own purposes, not because it doesn't fit my argument.
Because it doesn't fit your argument.
Yes, that's right. But Michael Caine in this film, I thought, played a really good role. I actually liked him more than I liked the main characters. Not because the story wasn't good enough for it, but the fact that he had the most stable role in the film.
Well, yeah.
He had the most sane position. And I liked him. He was the stabilizing factor throughout the movie.
Like in Alfred. Or
Yes.
like Alfred.
Yes. Which is something I don't like. Because I think this movie, and the things that I saw in it, and the way the characters relate to each other, kind of knocks Batman down a notch for me.
And you got to remember Christopher Nolan too, and that's one
Yes.
of my things. Is like Christopher Nolan clearly has favorite actors to work with, and he has no problem using them over and over and over again.
You know who doesn't do that? Joss Whedon.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I think like Michael Caine's been in like everything except like Memento or something. Like, because you probably couldn't get Michael Caine back then. But like, yeah, he uses characters like crazy. Now Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like his new fave or something. It's like it's not as bad as Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio though. That's just getting creepy.
But so there was actually a lot of little interesting trivia stuff. Sam Mendes was actually the original one who wanted to develop this film from the novel, and the author, whose name is also Christopher Priest, said no. He wanted Nolan to do it.
Woohoo!
So basically, he's like, if anybody's going to make my movie, it's going to be Christopher Nolan. And that's based off of Following and Memento. He loved those two movies that much. Now I can't remember the names. Borden's child, Christopher Nolan's child.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was actually Christopher Nolan's newborn infant.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Speaking of Christopher Nolan, just a little piece of trivia which I find a little upsetting. I don't remember what year it was, but I had read a while back that he actually wrote a script for Howard Hughes movies, which he considered the greatest thing he had ever written. And, he had already come up with several movies. And then, like, the same year, Leonardo DiCaprio played that movie as Howard Hughes, and it was like, oh, guess I'm not making that movie. And that's like, really? Like, the best thing you ever written will never get
DiCaprio!
Yeah. So it's just like I wonder what this movie would have been, like what that movie would have been.
But the magician that they were plants for in the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
the actual magician that trained them in sleight of hand for the film.
Oh.
Was it like Rick J or something?
Yeah. The name for the professor, for Borden's character, the professor, is actually taken from a magician that was considered like one of the most incredible sleight of hand magicians in modern day, who died back in 1992.
Oh.
Di Vernon.
Yes, that's his name. Dai, D-A-I, because it sounds like Guy, but it's not.
Although he did die.
That guy, Vernon.
From Mount Vernon.
Yeah. I thought this was pretty cool. I think Brandon will appreciate this one more than you will. In the bullet catch scene where he loses his fingers, in the list of performers, one of the names on the list is Harry Dresden.
Harry Dresden.
Yes.
Dresden Files?
Huh?
Dresden Files?
Yes.
Yes.
Who is a sorcerer.
Oh. Okay.
So that was pretty cool. That was a pretty neat nod. But yeah, there's a lot of little intricate stuff in this film that had to do with like real life and other properties and things that if you are paying attention add a lot to this film. That's the stuff I really enjoyed. And then of course the ending. It's such a tragedy. It's so bad. I don't mean bad as in awful. I mean bad as in
painful.
Yeah. It's like
all those dead ends.
First of all, we haven't really gotten to this yet. So
we're almost at 30 minutes already.
Yeah. Angia actually pulls off the transporting man trick, except he doesn't, right? Because he does fall through a trapdoor on stage. However, he also gets transported to a different place because through his obsession with doing a better trick than Borden, he commissions a cloning machine.
Yep.
This marvelous technological advance. He's like, I'm going to use it for my stage show. And then it gets burned. Right?
But he lives anyway.
But it's a tragic... Wait, what do you mean he lives?
There's an end scene where they're in the mansion and they pan the camera and you can see him standing in one of the like he's one of the mannequins or something.
That's a clone in water.
He definitely
That's the
wasn't.
clone that drowned at the end of the movie. Well, not because he went to the morgue, but like while we're talking about this, go put the movie back on right now because that's what it is. So like he's telling him, and they did such an effective job of interweaving the story all together. Like when Borden's about to get hung, right, and Gia's putting the machine away, saying he's going to make sure that it never gets used again, and Alfred from Batman walks out of the theater, and the assistant walks in, except it's not the assistant. It's a twin. Surprise! I'm going to throw a red ball. You get hung. You get shot. I mean, this is a really action-packed ending. And it ties together so well. The ending of this movie is really, really well done.
Nicely cut.
Yeah, it was...
And Christopher Nolan doesn't use storyboards. He does it all in his head.
Yep.
Except for the action scenes.
So... I was really impressed with the ending. I think even having not really gotten into the movie until 2/3 of the way through, that ending really tied it together and made it a really good movie for me. I think not watching it I kind of watched this like homework because I had to for the show. I wasn't prepared to just sit down and watch it. I think I watched it with a very different eye than I would just a movie that I wanted to enjoy. So maybe if I go back and watch it again, just kind of let it flow, I think I'll probably enjoy it a lot more because I saw it 4 times this week.
Right.
So the picture that I'm sharing, I guess he's not moving or anything, but
you can see he's floating and his hair is out.
Yeah, but the one that drowned had already drowned. He was in the morgue. This is not the morgue.
He's done the show a bunch of times and killed a bunch of clones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would.
Yeah,
like
that's
to
where
this
is where we put the prestige materials, and every night they have the blind people wheel these big things over there. Those are the tanks of dead clones.
Yes.
That I get. I don't know. I just maybe like it says, I want to be fooled.
I actually was expecting the clone to open his eyes or move or something,
Well, his eyes are open.
which it didn't happen. But no, he's dead. There's no doubt in my mind that that was the intention of the film to show that he was dead. Maybe it is kind of cool to think, well, maybe he's still alive, you know.
Well, you say that
it's a happy ending for everyone except the brother.
you say you expected him to open his eyes, but his eyes are already open.
Well, you know what he meant. He meant like demonstrate aliveness.
Yes, blink, you know, do something, get an erection. I don't know, just something to to show you, hey, this guy's not dead.
Okay.
Speaking to the cat.
Hello.
So, we know Dante liked this movie. I've revealed that I really enjoyed the ending of it, and I don't think Brandon said one way or the other whether or not he actually liked the movie.
No, I like the movie. I said that last week. Oh, and you know what?
That's last week. That's not this show.
Actually, I'm
Don't
going to
believe
disagree
you.
with again that you think he's dead. There's an air bubble that comes from him in the tank.
Oh, Jesus.
He has
you're
an
really
air
stretching
bubble.
it.
I just watched it. There's an air bubble that comes from him.
Tell you what, when we get Nolan on the show for an interview, I'll ask him that question for you. How's that? All right, so back to our normal little thingy majiggies. Who would we replace with Sam Jackson?
You know what's funny? I thought so much about the other one, the other question we always ask. I forgot about this one.
And actually, according to the book, Angier did survive and continues to survive to the present day.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
bad dog, Thor.
So he is
Tell Thor he's not a cat. He can't be on our show.
he is alive.
All right, I'll go with Angier. I could see him getting pretty dark.
What are you doing? I'd like to replace the cat with Sam Jackson. Because you've been a pain in the ass today.
I would replace Alfred.
Angier.
No, not right.
Gordon.
No, not
Alfred.
God, I forgot his name is
Michael
Alfred. Michael Caine.
You have to specify because it's
Cutter.
Christopher Nolan, all the same actors. So it's like,
I would-
Alfred, that Alfred. No, the other Alfred.
I would replace Cutter. Michael Caine.
That could be interesting. And this question's actually kind of evolved. We originally just started this as a joke, but sometimes we're like, I'm not going to be funny. I'm going to, I think Sam Jackson could actually do this role.
Right.
So I'm not sure which way to go today. Whether I want it to be funny or because it is a good movie and good actors. I think Sam Jackson could actually play some of these roles.
And it wouldn't be that far-fetched. He's already, acted with Scarlett Johansson and
Yes.
stuff.
I would say Borden, but never the stage magician.
That's just weird, which I guess
So
is appropriate.
just his assistant then.
Just his assistant.
I see.
Does he get to be black?
That's so...
Yes, he gets to be black, but only when he's the assistant. When they switch places,
That is a hell of a lot more makeup then.
he's white Christian Bale. Like they're identical twins that everyone believes is identical except the audience. Kind of like in How I Met Your Mother, Barney and his brother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they're twins like the movie Twins?
Yes.
Wow.
Um,
Full reference right there.
Now there was something else I was going to say, and he made me forget.
Okay.
But so we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next question. How is this like Gladiator?
Well, let's see. There's a dead wife that somebody really, really is upset about and kind of wants revenge for.
I disagree, because we already stated in the middle of the movie, he's not doing this for his wife. He's doing it for himself.
No,
Bad
he
answer.
he says that, but I don't necessarily believe it though. I'm
You
pretty
can have
sure.
more than one reason for doing so.
Yeah, like he was totally upset at the beginning of the movie when his wife died, and he wanted revenge. Like he even tried to shoot Kristen Bale by putting a bullet in the gun. He wanted revenge.
And that was before he even had the trick that actually fueled his further obsession. And
So you're
then-
saying the two things are unrelated?
What?
Yes.
Like, he clearly had an obsession with ruining this guy because of his wife. And that was before he even did the transported man. So, it's not a bad answer.
I don't know. I don't know if
I
I'll go
think-
with this one. I've agreed with you a
only
lot
wanted-
today, Dante, today, and this isn't
It
on my
also takes place in Europe.
I think he only
Okay.
wanted,
Yeah.
I think he only wanted the transported man because he wanted revenge. I think that was also part of the revenge. Let me steal this man's greatest trick for myself.
I think he wanted his trick because he wanted his trick.
I
think he wanted to be better than him.
As part of the revenge. I don't think it was just because he wanted to. I think he
Much
wanted
like
to hurt him.
Dante,
The-
I'm face palming right now.
Except we can see that you're not. So,
But can you see the lion?
they should be able to. Yeah, now that I'm talking.
It's
Okay.
a really important part of the analogy.
Yeah. In case you guys missed it here, I'll make sure you can see it. See, there it is, right behind you. There you go, face palming line.
All right, so it's that time. Can I get a drum roll, Brandon? Oh, I was disappointed. I expected him to do it with his mouth.
Oh, okay.
No.
I think you're the only one who expected that.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the audience was like,
All right. So we have an audience today?
yes. Yes, we do.
Audience, say something in the comments.
All one of you.
13.
13. I hope to God this is another Dante movie.
What, the last one?
Yes.
I have my list. I just need to send it to you. See, you can. I'm holding this to the camera. Can't you see it?
So, can we re-roll?
Nope. And I already saw it, too.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure why I picked this. Actually, I do know why I picked it, and now I'm just like, eh. Maybe when I watch it again, I'll feel that way.
Why did you choose that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to watch that.
Have you ever seen it?
No, and I never had
I have.
the care to see it.
I saw it in theaters.
But it's got that one comedian girl, Sarah something?
Silverman.
Yeah.
As a
Are
cute
you-
little girl in Candyland or whatever. So
Are you
not
gonna
Sarah
make-
Silverman.
Are you gonna make us watch the sequel too?
What?
Yes. Now that you brought up the fact that there's a sequel, because I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure there's no sequel.
Now we're going to watch it.
There's no sequel.
I don't know. When I googled it, I saw something about Wreck-It Ralph too. So I don't know. Maybe there isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going
And that's
to have
your
one.
story, and you're sticking with it. Don't try to. Okay.
So, that is The Prestige. I almost wish I had prepared a magic trick. So, I'm going to make the show vanish right after I say, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, comment in the video, tell us what you think about these movies, and that is a wrap.